Good morning, guys. I welcome each one of you to Sindhuja's Daily News Analysis. So, today the topic we are going to discuss is NGOs, which comes inside your Indian polity paper. What is NGO? It is non governmental organization. Looking more into it, NGOs are not for profit organizations. For what they work to alleviate suffering, promote the interests of the poor, protect the environment, provide basic social services, work on human rights, etc. Or, in a sense, they help the communities to develop. Now, in the UPSC thing, Indian polity and governance, inside that we have got this particular topic, NGOs, if you are aware about the syllabus. So we need to analyze on the following aspects: role of NGOs, what is its need, advantages and benefits of NGO, what are the drawbacks with NGOs, the laws and regulations behind it, case study is not required, and suggestions to improve working of NGOs and conclusion. So let's go into the historical aspects of it, like when it was established. The NGOs organizations are not a part of the government, but they have a legal status and they are registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860. But you know what? Governments, foundations, businesses and private individuals, all of them can contribute to the funding of NGO. Indian NGOs come under three segments: societies, trust and charitable companies. Then, as you know, for the development of the social sector, NGOs have played an increasingly important role. Like social sector means in the field of education, health and other areas of the last 2 decades. Now, what is the role of NGOs? First one is for improving the performance of the government. See, NGOs can broaden government's accountability by ensuring the government is responsive to citizens at large. They can encourage policy adaptability by bringing their own independent expertise and research teams to the platform. Service delivery can be enhanced at the local level when these residents get involved. Then policy monitoring and assessment can be enhanced because you know the CAG, they consider, CAG means Comptroller and Auditor General, they consider reports and social audits by NGOs when drafting its reports. Second role is social safety role. So NGOs are the principal areas through which communities can give voice to their concerns. Thus, they play a vital role in mobilizing public attention to societal problems and needs. In a sense, they ensure the development of the people on equal footing. The next role is service role. See, the non-profit sector acts as a flexible mechanism through which people concerned about a social or economic problem can begin to respond. They enable in a constructive conflict resolution by organizing seminars, lectures, group discussion, awareness programs, etc. Then they focus on women empowerment because women are the vulnerable section of society. So more women are campaigning for the rights and participating effectively in society. Then when it comes to education, NGOs are actively working to promote education, especially among the poorer parts of the community. Then environmental awareness. See, we know thousands of voluntary organizations are there which work against this environmental degradation and depletion of resources. One of that NGO, what I remember is example is Vanashakti NGO. The next role is community participation. See, the NGOs constitute a worldwide network interacting with governments and intergovernmental organizations, and they enable in shaping international environmental policies. They foster pluralism, diversity and freedom. Okay. Then, what is the need of NGOs? The need of NGOs is that India ranks 131 among 189 countries in the 2020 HDI index. Who releases HDI index? UNDP. Like the Global Hunger Index for 2020 indicates that 14% of India's population, 14% of India's population is undernourished. So, in such conditions, civil society plays a critical role in publicizing people's concern and ensuring that minorities are also taken care of, their rights and all. So NGOs act as the operational arm of the civil society and have an important role in the development process of the society. Then what are the advantages and benefits of NGOs? First one, they are flexible in adapting to local situations. Like they can act as mediator and facilitator. Second one, they can experiment freely. See, media campaigns and other forms of activism can be used to mobilize citizens. They act as a voice for people on both a representative and self-appointed basis for the welfare of the people, social welfare. Then they can have a good rapport with people, like researching, analyzing and informing the public about issues. Then they can play a role towards the rehabilitation of people for human right protection, etc. Their ability to communicate at all levels. NGOs, together with government, helps in increasing the developmental activities, like by taking specific issues like poverty alleviation, women's right, child labor, environmental issues, etc. Then what are the issues and weakness or flaws with NGOs? First one, difficulty to get funds. See, NGOs' willingness to speak out against the government is diluted by the dependence on government funds. Okay. Then accreditation issues. That is a very big challenge as it is difficult to distinguish whether an organization wants to work for the cause or has been set up only for the specific purpose. Then developmental issues. In India, foreign funded NGOs have often responsible for organizing disturbances and undermining development initiatives. Other defect is lack of proper networking. Lack of communication is caused by an inadequate network. Due to poor networks, it will lead to loss of opportunity of work with the community and the participation. Then developmental issues. In India, foreign funded NGOs are responsible for organizing disturbances and undermining development initiatives. Then lack of volunteerism or social work among youth. See, because of the lack of appealing employment prospects and pay levels, even parents discourage their children from participating in such social activities. And cultural hurdles. Like NGOs are frequently viewed as invading on people's century-old traditions and cultures, like in the case of huge protests, for example, ban of Jallikattu, etc. Then what are the laws and cases regarding this particular thing? Safeguarding these NGOs. First one is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act FCRA 2010. Foreign funding of voluntary organizations in India is regulated under this particular act, FCRA Act, who implements it by the Ministry of Home Affairs. What does this act ensure? The act ensures that the recipients of foreign contributions for the stated purpose for which such contribution has been obtained. Second law related to this is constitutional provisions for NGOs, like in the Article 19, Subclause 1, Subclause C on the right to form associations. Article 43, which highlight the states having an endeavour to promote cooperatives in rural areas. And third one, concurrent list in entry 28, which mentioned about charities and charitable institutions, charitable and religious endowments and religious institutions. Then the third major law regarding this is Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA Act of 1999. What is the objective of this act? To facilitate external trade and payments and to promote the orderly development and maintenance of foreign exchange market in India. In a sense, it aims to consolidate and amend the law relating to foreign exchange. Now, what are the way forward or suggestions how we can improve the working of NGOs? First one is ICT. See, all NGOs should be using a minimum of internet, email, basic website and relevant social media platforms, so it will help the timely updation. Second one, timely filing of annual income and expenditure. NGOs need to ensure that laws, regulations should be followed for this particular thing. Then capacity building. Training and capacity building can enhance the critical new skills. So NGO workers can be more easily trained and appropriate skills can be developed within the organization to meet difficulties. Then monitoring. In terms of monitoring and regulating illicit and unaccountable funds, there should be more collaboration between the Ministry of Home Affairs and Finance. Only then they can keep track of such foreign fundings, which will in turn enhance transparency in their operations and serve as a deterrent to legislation. Then increased role in rural areas. In India, 65% of the population belongs to rural areas. So NGOs must focus on operating in these areas in order to enlist the help of village residents in improving their lives. Then they should inculcate the essence of social work. It is important that participation of people in democracy for the promotion of social justice, gender equity, inclusion, etc. while working with NGOs. So NSS and NCC should encourage kids to volunteer from the time they are right in elementary schools. Okay, then universities, colleges, etc. can collaborate with NGOs and conduct campus interviews for the young graduates who are interested in such social work. So thus I would conclude that many NGOs in India have supported the government in serving its people in recent decades, like by campaigning for laws such as the RTA Act, food security, rural employment, etc. But still, what I feel is NGOs are facing multiple challenges. The most important step is to overcome these obstacles by identifying what are the challenges that an organization is facing and where exactly, in which all areas they need to improve. So only organizations can design a plan to improve and overcome such difficulties they face. For that, first we have to identify the important areas. So that's all for today. And one more article was given in today's Hindu, which was important like NFHS, but I am not going to discuss about it because you can refer my previous news analysis session where I have elaborately discussed regarding National Family Health Survey 5, Phase 5. I have discussed in beginning of this month's electoral analysis. So you can refer that analysis. So today we are wrapping the session with one particular part 1 of electoral analysis. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching my video sessions. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.